So the first moment I had where I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be a project actually predates the project. There's a couple songs on the project, Honey Pie and 40 Ounce, that were released last year. And I signed to Interscope on a different batch of songs of what I thought the project was gonna be. I'd already written Superbad Mantra, that was in there. Wasn't released yet. 40 Ounce of Honey Pie were in there. My narrative was kind of the same. And I signed this project on. And then, yeah, when I came back from that tour in February, I like, everything just felt different. And I like called my team and I called my label and I was like, yo, would it be crazy if I, you know, kind of stripped this down and just redid this and we pushed back the release and like, I kind of want to redo I basically called the people that just gave me a bunch of money for a project and like contractually signed like for these tracks. And I basically called them and was like, yo, can I like restart it all? And it was a really nervous call, but they were all super supportive because they don't give a shit about like the money or clout. Interscope just cares about like good music and growing artist careers and stuff like that. So I love them for that. But they let me restart it. And so I fucking, for the next few months, I think Sabotage was the first one that I wrote where I went in a room with my buddy Dan and my buddy Nate. And I just got back off the tour and I had a lot of shit on my chest that I wanted to say. And I was like, we're going to write a fucking breakup song right now. And then it just, you know, after that, then I wrote For Abby. Then after that, it just slowly started to piece together to where I was like, oh, I know. It wasn't me having to sit back and be like, what is this? Like, what is this project? It did it itself. And all I had to do was like arrange them to where narratively it made sense and add like some interludes. But it all, music is therapy, man. And like, sometimes if you treat the songs like your therapist and you back after like 2 or 3 months, you'll see that like, you'll be like, you'll hear a line that you said or something and you'll be like, oh, like I get what I meant right there when I said that. I didn't understand it in the moment because I was just like, I had some shit I was just saying in the moment to get off my chest, but like now I understand what that was. And it was just a cool thing. And then slowly it just came together as For Abby, the project. I called it For Abby because I used Abby as like a placeholder name to represent just a lot of people I was thinking about in that moment, whether it's an ex-girlfriend or a friend or whoever. And then I just started running with that. I was like, okay, like this is a dude and he breaks up with the girl and like her name is Abby and like he's making her this mixtape and like here we are now and it's out and I'm fucking juiced about it. I've also never done a big project before. I didn't know what it was gonna be like and it was hard as hell, but I did it. When you're sitting with your dad or someone and wrestling is on, right? And there's people getting thrown through tables and shit, and it looks like it hurts. And then your dad or whoever is like, yo, that shit is fake. But then you go be a wrestler for a week, and you get thrown through those tables, and you hit that mat, and the mat's not super soft, and you're fucking hurt, and you're in an ice bath. You're bloodied, like you have cuts, but like it's fake, right? That was kind of me with the record. I was like putting out all these singles. I was getting on all the playlists. I would never say it out loud, but I'm sure I felt like a big shot, right? In my head, I'm like, oh, like a record, like, come on, I got this. I've been dropping singles all the time. How hard could it be, right? And then you realize that writing a record, or at least a good record, you could probably throw together a shitty record really quick. But writing in like an objectively what I think, I personally, without sucking me off, I think my record is like tight. I think writing a good record, I thought it was like, yeah, how hard could it be? And then I got my ass like kicked and handed to me and it spent like 4 months like gruelingly pulling it together. It came out naturally, but like that shit is not easy. There's probably like 17 songs that didn't make that project. Like it was a rough one. If I had to pick anything out of my old catalog that if I could go back in time, pick a person, remix the song and get them on it, I think it would be Folding Like Honey, just because of that weird oldies vibe to it. And I think I'd want to get Tyler on it. Tyler, the Creator. That would be crazy. Because I looked up to him he was the first artist that he might be like 2 years older than me, but close enough in age to where like when I was a teenager, he was a teenager, right? And I was watching him go through his teenage angst. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, like this shit is tight and this speaks to me, and like I'm a fucking weird kid too, and this is awesome. Then when I was in my 19 to 21 years, he was also in his like early 20s, and then he kind of matured a little bit and was like, all right, now I'm not like as angsty, and now I got like some other shit I want to say, and so on and so forth. I feel like through each album I was like growing with him in live time, and I was maturing with him in live time all the way up to this last record, which in my lifetime, I haven't had anybody like that other than like Mac Miller, and like rest in peace, but he's no longer here anymore. But those were like the two artists that like, they were close enough to me in age that when they were kind of in their teenage years, I was too, and I was following them as a fan while I went into adulthood as I'm listening sonically to like them grow up too. And I was like, they're just like the tightest to me. I actually didn't even take my answer though into consideration of like sonically how I sounded. I just was completely thinking, who do I like love? Like who would I geek out and be like, I can't believe this happened? It would just be Tyler for sure. I would freak out. I'd be like, there's no fucking way. If that ever happens to this day, anytime in the future, nobody can take that away from me. You know what I mean? I don't care if everything falls off and I lose all my money or whatever. If I had a Tyler like collab, I won.